Hi, today's Grow Job we're going to talk about sweet corn. Now this is what's happened to my sweet corn. You've seen it right from the very beginning. So now you can see all this top stuff. These are the male flowers of the sweet corn. There we go. This is the male flower. And that's busy shedding pollen. You'll never be able to see that. But trust me, when you do that, clouds of dust fly off. Now this dust, the pollen, falls down because it's so light on some of the other sweet corn, and it gets caught on the hairs of the female pod. There's a nice female pod for you. Now you can see these are the hairs, and these catch the pollen. Pollen grains grow in right to the centre till they find the embryo kernel, and then they start to swell. So you really need good pollination to get good full pods of sweet corn. That's why it never should be grown in rows. It should be grown in a bit of a jungle like this. This is about the right spacing and everything. Sometimes they grow a lot taller than this. Mine got stunted this year. However, you can still get a decent crop off them. I think it was so warm and dry early on. Now the thing you've got to look for on these pods is the dry pods. So let's go in and look at a very unripe pod. There you see, very unripe pod right in the centre of the shot there. Now that is green. It feels like spaghetti. After a few days, when it's pollinated, the spaghetti will turn into, I don't know what you called it, but dried up worms. It's quite soft. Eventually that dries up so crispy and hard it may end up blowing away, which in this case what this has. Okay, right, now we're still a little bit away from the pods being ripe. You can feel in the cobs, you can feel they're fully seeded up. Now you've got to wait on these until when you burst each kernel it comes out white, a white milky looking substance, not clear watery. Now I know from experience that we're a good few days away on these pods. They're not ripe yet and they won't be, but the thing about filming this today is I managed to show you nearly ripe pods and very unripe pods. So you can pull a couple of leaves off and have a look at them. If you're unsure, pop one of the little seeds open and see what it looks like inside. And there you can see. You should get about 3 or 4 pods on each plant. Now if you go anywhere in the country you'll see big fields of sweet corn and you think, great, they must have loads of sweet corn. And if you know the farmer you must think, oh well, perhaps he'll let me have a pod or two. Well, that is feed corn, and it's nowhere near as sweet, it's nowhere near as nice to eat, and what it's harvested for is the whole plant for animal feed. So that's the leaves, the stalk and everything, and it's made into silage. But there sometimes is these little corn on the cobs on it, but they're not very nice tasting. This, like many of the ones that we grow now, is a sweet variety. There are some super sweet varieties which should only be pollinated with another super sweet variety. Well, that's alright. A lot of us haven't got half a mile of space in between our sweet corn and the neighbour's sweet corn, because rhubarb bronze, I'll turn it round, sweet corn is just there, a little bit behind mine, but that's not a problem. He's got the same problem with his. It's not quite as tall as it could be, but that was the lack of water at the beginning of the year. So here we go, the sweet corn. What do you do with sweet corn? Well, you can either cut it off the cobs and put it in the freezer, freeze the cobs whole. What we often do is put it on the barbecue, because believe it or not, there's nothing quite as nice as very fresh sweet corn on the barbecue. Now I mean very fresh, because again, this whole subject we've talked about times, the starches turn into sugars while it's fresh, and then they turn back into starches when it's picked. So you really got to get it from the plant straight away off to where you're cooking it within a few hours basically. Any you get from the supermarket won't taste the same, and if you buy it in a tin, add a couple of spoonfuls of sugar just to keep it sweet. So grow your own sweet corn. Doesn't take long, it's quite easy. Okay, it's Vince here on today's Grow Joe. I'll pack it in for now. Goodbye.